Okay, we are live. I am attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Miss Georgette Truan. Miss Truan, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
And we have a very special guest, Miss Loretta Romo. Miss Romo, how are you this evening?
I'm great so far.
Okay. Where are you coming to us from?
I am coming from Wharton, Texas, 40 miles away from Houston.
Oh, what county is that? Is that the same county as Houston?
No, that's Wharton County.
Are you in Texas? Is CPS administered county by county or by the state?
I believe it's county by county, but since we're so small, we're like united with, I think it's, is that Rosero County? I'm not mistaken, Bay City, something like that. Because we're small.
Where do you go to court? What county do you go to court in?
In Wharton County.
Okay, very good. So what's going on with CPS in Wharton County, Texas?
Okay, first of all, I've been an activist for like 30 years with LULAC. And I strayed for a couple of years. My mom passed away, but I'm back now. I've never had to deal with them in my 62 years of life. I've always dealt with criminal, an advocate for criminal research and also court watchers. But I adopted a baby about 2 years ago. Well, I took in a baby about 2 years ago due to his mother being addicted to drugs. And everything was fine. He had some diagnoses, seizures, stuff like that. But I took him in January because you know how that RSV was going on so much. And since he was very sensitive because of his diagnosis and seizures, I immediately take him. Every time something happens, I immediately take him to the doctor. Well, this time I took him, and this is the second time his doctor has reported me, but I've done my research, and I'm going to get there in a minute, that I was being medical neglected. The first time she filed on me, her and the social worker, they came at me with my name, everything on my information with me, considering I had POA from his mom from the beginning of birth. They came to me and, dealt the situation with me and told me that, we have a claim, case, CPS case, and we need to settle this. We need to know why. And I explained to her, look, he has a problem here and he has seizures. And when he has seizures, there's no way I can go to his medical appointments. And that's pretty, how could I say it? I don't want to say stupid in part of the doctor's side, but I can't find another word. I mean, because I can't take him out of the hospital. If he's in the hospital and he has an appointment, I can't make it. So they're losing money. She's losing money because she don't get paid if I don't take him. So she did that once. They canceled the CPS case. They said, okay. Now in January, again, they filed another report that I wasn't taken. Well, I transferred his medical team, to a different hospital because I wasn't getting, they didn't let him go to another hospital he was at. They didn't have any beds and he was really sick. And one of the nurses told me, look, Loretta, you got to get him out of here or not, he's not going to make it. So I made them take him out to another hospital, which they immediately took him in. And luckily, because he almost wouldn't have made it. Well, so happens that he had an appointment that month in January and he couldn't make it because he was still in the hospital because he has respiratory failure. He has bleeding. He was premature. He has chronic lung disease. He has eye disease, high risk, all these diagnoses. So I wasn't going to sit around. So she filed another claim against me, not realizing that I knew because the social worker showed me the paperwork and at that new hospital. So now I'm with this issue here that they don't want to give them back to me. But we had a meeting in January in Harris County, and I keep telling them, this is not your jurisdiction because the baby is in Harris County. The mom lives in Harris County, and they left me out this time. When they picked up a case, they left me out, out of the case. So I wasn't involved. I wasn't being sued. Though now the mother was being sued because they got a hold of her. So I feel like, and I've been talking to other people, that he does not belong in this jurisdiction because his mom does not live here, and I was never mentioned in the CPS investigations whatsoever. But to make a long story short, now I'm fighting him. I had to hire an attorney so I could intervene and file a motion to intervene because I had him. He was in my care, not in his mother's. He was at the hospital, yes. So how could that be medical abuse if the doctors at the hospital are medicals? That doesn't make any sense. So I've decided to go pro se because I paid my attorney. It's ridiculous. Only been 1-2 appointment. I told him this is what I want done. I want you to file to dismiss this case. I said, and tell them, hey, this is not their jurisdiction. Never use my address. Never use nothing. Everything was in the mother's name, in her address in Harris County, which that's what she's at. And that's what they put, that he was in Harris County, and the case still in Norton. Well, the people in Harris County picked up the case and gave him back to me. They gave him back to me, and they said, you got to follow these rules. Okay, whatever. Well, Wharton County came back and retaliated against me and decided, no. Well, this baby is sick, so they're getting paid for him millions of dollars. I'm talking about really. So luckily I intervened because they got her they convinced her to do a termination of her rights, but not realizing that I intervened. So they're not going to get that $67,000 what they give here in Texas. When you terminate a baby, a parent's rights, this is what Texas gives them. $67,000. Can you imagine? And he's not the only one. I have been observing other cases, and comparing them, the plan, the affidavits and stuff like that. And I have done my research, and noticed that these CPSs need to have a degree by their, I guess, when they apply or something for this job. This CPS that I have don't have a degree. Does have nothing to qualify her as a CPS. So she lied, and I have all this paperwork. So we're an organization, a big organization. I don't know. I'm sure there's one up in California. So we went to our district meeting yesterday, and the director out of the association that I'm associated with, he has 40 years. And they're suing everybody all the time because of their wrongdoing and stuff. He told me, look, Ms. Romo, this is what you need to do. And he's very good at it. And he's not an attorney, but he deals with a lot of people in attorney. And this is good to be associated with them, especially the Hispanic. And because a lot of Hispanics don't speak English, and they have nothing but African Americans in our county to subdue all this county with the CPS children. And they can't speak no English. But I've noticed that on the African Americans plan, they let them see the babies immediately. I have not been able to see the baby for 4 months, knowing that I have the same right that the mother has now. I still have when they gave me the plan, not realizing that we filed that motion, which I'm glad we did. And this is something that people need to know. If they're caregivers, and I'm not trying to take the baby away. Don't misunderstand me, but if you've had him and the mom gave him to you, you have every right to protect him, So my question, because they told me to do a resolution, and I'm not familiar too much with this stuff, so he can file. He says, because this is your story. It's not mine. This is what's happening to you, not to me. So they can help me solve the problem and take it before, I guess, whoever is in charge. So I want people to know that don't try to take the baby away. And I wasn't trying, but she just couldn't handle all this, this medicals that he has, his issues, because she's had five others and she's barely getting back on her feet. She's been on drugs for years and she's been off for a year, but she's still living in the sober living, because I guess they want to make sure that she don't get back. But she signed her rights away. The father's nowhere to be found. I've had him since he was born. So, and I want to go pro-se, but then again, I'm not familiar with that. So one of the ladies there that's on your group, has been talking to me and telling me, look, Loretta, you need to go pro-se. All that money you gave to the attorney, he's not going to do nothing for you, and which he hasn't. So tell me, what's my next step? Or what should, I'm not as, you're an attorney, so.
Well, let me tell you this. You probably want to get another attorney if you're
Oh
not
my God.
working with this attorney. The reason why I tell you don't go pro se is because after 37 years of being an attorney,
Mm.
that is a very, very low probability of success move.
Okay.
Look, and I want to be respectful to you, Loretta, but I'm just going to be honest with you.
That's what I want, honest.
Okay, you're not a lawyer.
Exactly.
You don't know the substantive law in this area. You don't know the evidentiary law in this area. You don't know the procedural law in this area. You know nothing about direct examination of witnesses. You know nothing about cross-examination of witnesses. Not that you couldn't be trained in it over years, but, you know, I can't change my own transmission.
Right.
I'm not trained in it. I don't have the tools. I don't have the supplies. I don't have the work area. Okay. So I don't try to change my own transmission. So many people think that because this is America, that they can just go into court and represent themselves. They can't. Now, having said that, have I ever seen a pro se win? Yes, I have. It's like 1 out of 1,000, but I've seen it. So, Loretta, before you go for that probability about a child, one of the most important cases you'll ever be involved in, I think twice about trying to go pro se. And let me tell you something. If somebody who's not a lawyer gives you legal advice or legal strategy, the first thing you should do is verify that with a lawyer or run the other way. Because most advocates don't have the knowledge or and experience. Now, I'm not saying that's all advocates because I don't know all advocates, but I can tell you that most do not. Okay.
Mhm.
Are advocates ever right? Yeah, sometimes. Now, is this the kind of case that you want to be sometimes right about? I give an example of, a social worker comes into your home, goes into your back bedroom, goes into your closet, and finds that secret hiding place where you have $10 million. Takes the $10 million and walks out the door. What are you going to do? You're going to call Johnny Cochran if he were alive. But when people come get your kid, you
Yeah.
think you can do the case yourself. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yes, it's America. Yes, you have rights. But sometimes those rights aren't what you think. I want to tell you a quick story. This happened several months ago. I did a trial, and my client insisted that I implement the strategy she suggested. And we kind of argued back and forth, but um, I don't usually argue with clients anymore. And I document it, and if that's what they want to do, okay, that's what they're going to do. Do you know that the very first witness or piece of evidence that this client had me provide basically shot us in the head? It was terrible. And then The client asks me, "Hey, why did we do that?" I found
Okay.
the text. I found the text in my phone and I showed her. This is where you insisted that I do this. Do you remember that we had discussions about that? Oh yeah. That's why you don't want to play lawyer,
Right.
Loretta.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree. I'm just like, what do I do? I mean, I understand I have the same right as a biological mother has now that I've intervened. Now I've had the baby, in my custody. My question was also, why didn't they put me in the suit to begin with?
That I can't tell you. You know, he, you know, people ask me questions all the time about very specific issues in a case. Why did they do this?
Right,
Sometimes I'm even on the case. But you know what? I don't know. They don't discuss their strategy with me. Can you believe that? The social worker and her attorney who are trying to beat me don't discuss their strategy with me. So don't discuss the strategy. I had something happen very recently. I'm going to tell you this. I was about to start a trial and the trial got delayed, but in our discussions with trying to resolve the case, another attorney who was on the case, very experienced attorney, been doing this years, decades, says something in negotiation that gives away part of our strategy. Okay. I myself, I don't do much talking. I do more listening because I don't want to give away strategies.
right,
The case got continued. And do you know that the social worker's attorney, being a smart attorney, fixed the problem? One of our main strategies in the case. So, people tell me all the time, well, why aren't you trying to work this out with the social worker? Well, social workers maybe want to trick you. I told a client recently, don't go talk to the social worker. And the client found out that the social worker left him a message. Come talk to me. We're thinking about dismissing the case. Okay. Now, in the meantime, they've made all these horrendous allegations against him, gotten the police involved. And he was like, well, if I go talk to her, they'll dismiss the case. Like, are you serious? Are you really buying into that? Okay. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. I can't stop you, but I'm advising you not to do it. I've told Miss G this a lot of times. A couple decades ago, I would argue with my clients. If I say A and they say Z, I'd argue with them. Now I don't argue with you. I'm too old to do that. I tell you, hey, do A, and if you don't want to, okay, it's your family, your life. Go ahead and do Z. It's not going to end up well, but we don't have to argue about it. I it 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 astounds me that people come to me, they hire me. Oh, Mr. Davis, you have so many years of experience. You seem like you're an expert. You did a radio show. Wrote a book. You do these lives and talk about CPS, beating CPS every day of the week. And then when I give advice, no, I don't want to take that advice. I think we should do blah, blah, blah. I don't advise that, but if that's what you think, okay, go right ahead. Why even call me? Why
right.
hire me? Why hire me?
Yeah, but if they're gonna do that, I just want to just say, don't blame him.
Yeah.
When you,
No, you're absolutely right.
but they do blame him though, just so you know, Loretta, they do blame him, and they write all kinds of crap about him, and I'm like, wow, and they're the ones who refuse to take his advice to begin with.
Yeah. No, I've been there, so I know, you
Yeah,
know. So now I learned to listen. Yeah. I understand him, and they
yeah,
do.
they do all the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
But one more question, if I may ask you.
Mhm.
Um, on the family plan, because the judge was unaware when we went, they told me about the meeting, the hearing, and she lied on the affidavit, which that's another case that I'm dealing with. Uh,
That's par for the course. But go ahead.
yeah. Um, I forgot what I was going to tell you.
Oh,
She
sorry.
put in, okay, that's okay. She put in there all kinds of lies and stuff. And what I do, I used to be a paralegal many years ago in my younger days. So I would like observe all the affidavits and then write my side of the story or what I think of them, on each paragraph. Well, wait a minute, I need this, I need that. Okay. So she puts in a lot of stuff that I know that are lies, like the uh, uh, hospital visits, which I luckily I was able to get all my hospital appointments, all the payments that Medicaid paid. And what I don't understand about this doctor, she must and she must think that she was dealing with somebody that no, it's not going to do nothing. No, I'm going to do something, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be going through this emotional stress. You know, I have nurses that were in the hospital that they said that one of the nurses, he has a G tube, pull his G tube out. You know, and she told me, I said, I don't want to call you, but I want to tell you, you need to get this baby. I said, out of here. From the hospital, one of the nurses. And there were several nurses that you get to know them, and they feel compassionate for you, and they care for you, and they're like, because I was there for the baby. Nobody had to do nothing. I would change him, I would bathe him, I was there 24/7 with him. And the mom, when she started coming in, she was like, I gotta go, I gotta go to work, which I didn't care. But for CPS to retaliate against me, because I refused to talk to them, I said, I'm not talking to you unless I have an attorney, and that was the main thing that they were trying to get at me, because I refused to talk to them. I refused to follow they wanted to do like a family plan. And because I told her, this is not your jurisdiction. You know, Harris County gave me the baby back. Yeah, but he lives with you. But you didn't mention that, in your affidavit. You didn't mention nothing like that. So you went wrong there. So she kind of like got upset, like I was like telling her job, thinking and telling her, look, you're wrong. Your affidavit, you lied. You said that the baby was with his mama, which he's not. And if that's the case, then this judge is wrong, because she should have read the affidavit stating that the baby was living in Harris County, which he was in the hospital, which he was. So that case pertained to Harris County. So when they gave it back to me, she figured, oh no, we can't give, this is my theory, I can't give that baby back. We're going to lose money. We're going to get a whole bunch of money. Now I see, what's going on in the CPS industry, with these children. It's all about money.
It is an industry. You're right about that.
I'm like, wow. So we've decided, the organization, that we're going to look into it more. We're going to start doing rallies. We're going to start doing protesting.
Well, Lorella, let me tell you something. Okay. I love protests. I love rallies. But you know what they get you? Nothing.
That's not true. That's not true.
They get you nothing, Loretta.
That's not true.
What you need to do is organize your people and vote.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Too, Vincent. The rallies and the protests helped too, because the media gets involved and it's all over. And now, everybody.
Miss G, 37 years. Okay. I can tell you not one protest or rally led to anything of constructive change.
There was never a protest as big as, it should be bigger. It should not just be like 30 people protesting. I'm talking about.
Let me tell you something. You know what? Many years ago, African American men had the Million Man March on Washington, D.C. Okay? What'd that get them? Got them a lot of things on the news. I would argue that African American men, are in worse position now than they have ever been. So Please, protests, you think they work. No. You know what works? Getting 1 million people behind you and voting. That's what works. Because, every politician, every judge that's elected, they want to keep their jobs.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
I'm talking
And
about both. We do both. Both.
if you had, and I'm not trying to incite anything, but, um, protests walking around the courthouse with signs, what does that, it makes you feel good. What
No.
does it do? What does it do?
To me, I'm going to tell you
Involved.
what I feel like it'll do. Let me tell you. To me, when the community knows you and they know about you and then they know what you about, especially when it's justice. I said, to me, this is what I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about anybody else. I said, they'll come forward. This girl's fighting, she's always fought. For my 30 years that I've been in the county that I'm in, I've always been a fighter. And people respect you for that. So when you run for something or you try to run for something, they know, what, this lady's going to do something. Let's get her in. You see where I'm going, Davis?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I clearly see it. But Loretta, I've been in doing this for 37 years this July. 37 years. Not this July, this December. I'll be 65 in July.
Oh my goodness.
But
I'm older than you.
I cannot say that I know that a protest has led to any change whatsoever. I can't. Now, maybe
We've
it
never
has.
had a big protest like this before. We never had.
Maybe
Okay.
when you get 1 million people, come talk to me.
Oh, but
Otherwise, organize in your state, county by county, city by city, and vote your people in. It takes a lot of time. See, a protest, you just show up for one day, march around, high five everyone.
well, I don't know, Davis.
Those in power,
I
they're
don't
not
know.
they're,
No,
they're
we're not
not paying
doing that.
attention to you.
I,
They're not
I
paying-
am, Davis. And I'm going to tell you real quick, okay, because it's in my mind. That lady up in Dallas that they took her baby, she was breastfeeding. I think it was in Dallas. They protested and
Yep.
everything, and she got her baby back. No,
The
it's
media
about
was involved. The media got involved. See, the thing is, when
yeah,
you protest, it's just like George Floyd. You know how many
right.
times police officers choked somebody to death? Nobody knew about it, even with video. When the
Right.
whole country started to come out and protested, even in Canada, actually, believe it or not, in Italy, Canada, they also protested for George Floyd.
Yeah.
Everybody came out. Then the media got involved, and
I
there was
think
justice.
I think what happened was
See,
on George Floyd is that there was video of the guy in the process of killing the man.
there was a
That
lot of videos before Vincent, and that didn't do anything either. But what I'm trying to tell you is that
have they reformed police? Have they reformed police because of George Floyd? Yes or no?
yes,
How? Tell me one law.
I can't remember the law. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I don't care about the police. I care about CPS. That's what I'm focused on.
You brought him up. I didn't.
I brought it up is because of the protest. See,
Yeah.
this is when your other Vincent, the other Davis comes out. Listen to me. When it comes to protesting, okay, the whole country, the whole United States. Never mind. You know what? I'm talking to you and you're not listening to me. I know you when you're focused, and I know when you're not focused.
I'm
You're not.
I'm searching the internet.
See, I know you're not focused. That's why I know you so well. So I'm just not going to
It's
talk about
just
it anymore.
it's just blah 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 white noise.
Exactly. There you go. I'm not going to talk. That's just whatever.
Well, what we're trying to do here in Texas is that, a lot of people say, oh, CPS get away with it. There's 2 judges here in Texas, one in Houston, one out of Corpus Christi. I don't know if you've done your research, but Janice Jack Graham, she's a judge, a federal judge out of Corpus Christi. She has filed several contempts on CPS. There was a case out in Harris County just about maybe 2 years ago where this CPS went and took the baby from her, and he fell down in the doctors. And there's another problem with these doctors, and don't misunderstand me. I'm not discriminating, but I am totally against it. You bring these foreigners in, and they want to practice, American medicine, you know, and they think they know American medicine, but really you know more American medicine than they do because you've been here longer than they have, and they want to come in here and say, "Oh, the baby had this. Oh, we found that the baby had," and they take the babies away. Well, to make a long story short, the CPS lied on her affidavit. They sued CPS out of Harris County, and the judge granted them 127 and then 100,000 for attorney fees. But the CPS lied, and it's on video, YouTube. If you just look it up, I think her name was Melissa Bright or something like that. And he sent her 6 months in prison. Gave her 6 months jail time. A lot of people say, no, they won't. Yes, they will. If you're in the right court, trust me. And Harris County is fed up with it.
I think people are getting to that point, even judges, because, tends to be so rampant.
Yeah.
And without even caring. Because if you sue the social worker right now, and you win, nothing happens to the social worker. She doesn't even have to pay the judgment or the settlement. The county here in LA, the county pays for it, no matter what the social worker did.
Yeah, but the county gets money from the federal fund, so they're not even really paying for it at all. They make so much $1 million. I've done my research, and this has only been like 4 months, and I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong with this system. Now I see why they killed Nancy. I don't know if you know her, out of Georgia, back in 2010, and they killed her because she wanted to find out why this, what was it that she said? Oh my God, no, I got the wrong book. Anyways, she wanted to go to Washington and have them change that program on CPS, and also to cut a lot of funds here and there. But that's what Judge Janice Graham out of Corpus Christi wants. She wants to cut it, and they're asking for more funds. And she said, no, you're not getting no more money. All these kids are dying. All these kids, you're giving these kids to foster parents that are abusing them. You're having the kids in hotels getting raped. I don't know if you read all that, but I've been reading it, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
And also social workers, Melissa Robertson. She was also on Friday. She works for the Department of Children and Family Services as a social worker. Was arrested by Hartford police for hindering the arrest of her client, who had a felony arrest warrant. So basically, they're arresting social workers too. I mean, yes,
that's what we're fighting for. Yes,
lie to get away with it. Yes, we get that. They lie in the stand, then the supervisor promotes them. Whatever, they get promoted. Yeah, whatever. But what I'm saying is, now people are opening their eyes. Now people are like, okay, wait a minute now. Let me investigate this. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's actually private journalists who are actually investigating the Department of Children and Family Services right now.
Yep.
Right now, in a state I cannot mention, but what I'm saying is they're opening their eyes. So if we have a lot of people protesting, a lot of people all over United States of America, whether they have a CPS case or not, people who are seeing clearly what's going on with their taxpayers' dollars. Think about it. This is coming out of our pockets as well. This is not just, the federal government. Where does the federal government get the money?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So let's open our eyes. Yes, we can vote for judges, but a judge can easily say he's a family man. There's so many judges who are family men, But guess what? I know a couple of particular female judges who are scumbags. So,
Yes.
therefore, their family people too. And they wrote such a beautiful documentary about themselves. It was so beautiful and just so wow. And then you look at them and they're very, very, very
I don't
dirty.
think that, I don't
So,
mean to interrupt you, but I don't think some of the judges, like the lady judge, I don't think she really knows or reads what actually, or no proof on the affidavit that the CPS workers put into to place when they do their complaint. I said, because if she did, I'm saying if she did, it's all my complaint. Um, she probably would have already given my baby back, but I believe that she didn't. And the county attorney, I know him. We were back in almost 15, 20 years ago. I was working as an activist, and we were able to get that county and the district attorney, yes, out of his position because all the racist and bias he was doing through the criminal courts, sending all the African American to jail, all the Hispanics, and the whites were staying sitting. So when we brought that to his attention, we said, look, this is what we found. This is what we're going to do. I said, if you don't change. Well, he decided just to retire. So when you bring that stuff up to his attention, they're like, oh, wait a minute. They don't want to go to prison.
no, they don't want to go to prison, unfortunately. And I get that. I get that. Um, the sad part about this is that we need to do something. We need
Yeah,
to
I
like
totally agree.
I
I
agree
totally
with
agree.
I agree with the voting part. Vote them, vote new
Yeah.
judges in. I get that. But also we don't know, it's like a box of chocolate. You don't know what flavor you're gonna get because a box of chocolate looks so good. I'm a chocolate lover. Okay. You be give me a box of chocolate. You better believe I'm gonna try each and every one of them, right? And then I'm gonna choose which one I really, really like.
Yeah.
So again, it's the same thing with people, same thing with judges. You don't know what you're gonna get. So let's focus on both. Get that organized and then do the protest. That's what I've always wanted, to do both.
Yeah.
Because there people in general are cowards. Some people, not all people. So
Mhm.
therefore, when they see that people are waking up, now they're gonna be like focused on doing the right thing because they don't want to be caught. So when they see that we're all standing together, we're not divided. We should never be divided.
I
But we're
agree.
divided. We're divided by parties, we're divided by race, we're divided by color, we're divided by, whatever, gender. It's so silly to me because God made us all equal,
Oh,
right?
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Only
And
only
I'm not a
some-
racist person.
no,
We bleed the same blood everybody else bleeds. It might be a little darker, it might be a little light, but we all bleed. But my
exactly.
question to you, Davis, is if you don't mind me asking you one more question. Um, in your state, you're in California, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are y'all able to videotape
No.
a court,
Videotape what?
court sessions, cases, stuff like that?
No.
No, it's a crime.
Okay. It really, well, not here. Our governor just passed a law that we're able to record. I mean,
In court?
it's a public place, which we taxpayers pay for, and the judges still think that they can still keep us away from recording sessions, which he made it a crime if they tell us we can't record.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
Greg Abbott.
it cannot be a crime if it's a law that passed, right, in your state.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yes,
it can
in
still be a
September the
crime,
1st.
right? So
Yeah.
you make sure you tell that judge the law, read it
Oh, I
to
carry
her.
it with me. No, I carry it. And the good thing is that also he put into law that CPS has to tell every person that's been filed a case against them. They got to tell them, okay, you can record if you want, but the CPS has to tell you that. And if she don't tell you that, there's a bill for that also.
What happens?
That
What's the remedy?
that goes into effect. Now he also put into where all CPS in Texas have to report. I mean, all the I guess the offices have to report to him now, Greg Abbott. I guess they were reported to someone else, but now they're reporting to him, and that's
Is it
even better.
is it possible you could send me and Miss G the links to those new laws? I
Yeah,
definitely would like to see it.
yeah, it's HB. What was it? I have it. I'm kind of. Let me see. I got it right here. I'm gonna turn it right. Um, HB Greg Abbott new law. Somebody sent them to me. Greg Abbott, governor. Okay, our governor is Greg Abbott, and he just go signs law eliminate. Okay, no, but I definitely will. I mean, uh, pass. Oh, hang on, because I even printed it. Pass law. I think it's HB 7 or something, or HB 17 maybe. Governor 8. Okay, bill into law.
We don't have to do it right now,
Okay.
Loretta.
No,
This can
I just thought I'd bring that up because that is very important to a lot of people that don't know that don't have access to internet, or maybe aren't familiar with the law. Uh,
if you're accurate, but that's only the law in
Texas,
Texas. I
yes.
can tell you it's not the law in California.
No, yeah, I hear you, but I'm just saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We in Texas, we're like really fighting. There is this gentleman that went to court. I think his name. I'm sorry.
Have a case coming up in Texas or something, or you're waiting for a pro hog.
No,
I'm sorry. Oh,
not at the moment.
okay. I have to look for it. But if you send me your email, I'll send it to you. Or I'll tag you on it on Facebook, and
Grace
that way.
Grace will send you my email. Okay, Grace will
Okay.
send you my email.
Okay. Sounds good. And but other than that, he's just passing a lot of good laws that are taken into place because they're getting a lot of complaints now. Mothers and parents, and it's just going on and on.
There's a Nancy Skinner law in California that passed in 2022, that prevents any family member that has any crime or any misdemeanors like decades old from having placement. Actually, it says very specifically in the law, if they pose no current threats to society, then they have the right to have placement of the children or the child. So that's a new law also, but the social workers are telling relatives, there is no such thing and there is such a thing. And it was passed and signed by Governor Newsom as well. Okay.
Could you send me a link to that, Miss G?
Yeah, I can send it right now. I have it right here.
Because as you might imagine, that discussion comes up all the time in my cases.
Yeah, it does. And yeah. Here it is. I am going to send it to you in a private chat.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Miss Loretta.
Yes, sir.
We're moving towards the end of the show. Are there any other questions you wanted to ask me?
That's basically it. I'm going to take your recommendations, legal advice, because, like I said, I mean, sometimes you just have to swallow your pride,
Yeah,
and just go with the flow. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I mean, you should have the best representation that you can get regarding your CPS case, in your area. And Texas is a big state. Hey, we have a friend in Texas that is an attorney. His first name is
What part?
Matthew. What's Matthew's last name, Miss G?
Matthew Harris.
Matthew Harris. Is he in Houston or Dallas or El Paso or something like that?
He's in Lubbock,
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. He's an awesome guy. I love this guy so much. I
And
love
he's like
him.
6,
Hey,
7 miles
Miss.
away. 6 or 7 hours away.
Oh, give him a call anyway.
Okay.
Maybe he can refer you to someone good in your area.
Well, there's a
Right.
good an attorney here in in Texas. That's the one that represented Melissa Bright. Uh, and I talked to him, and he's asking for like 30,000. I'm like, oh my god! But he got her, you know.
But see, that's the thing. The thing is, people think it's an easy case. And then when we tell people, hey, we need this is how much your case is going to be, then they think, oh, that's too much money. No, you're fighting state, county, state attorney, county attorney, social workers, minors counsel, judge. I mean, you're fighting an
Yes,
army of corrupt
yes,
people, and you're
yes. You're right.
telling me and the attorneys, hey, that's too much money. Are you kidding me? That's to me, that's not enough. To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah. I
30,000,
mean,
that's nothing.
Hey, Miss Loretta, we've come
yes,
to the
sir.
end of the show, and
Okay.
I want to thank you for calling in and
Oh,
sharing
thank
your
you.
I really appreciate it. And if you have any further questions, give Miss G or myself a call. We'll
I
be happy
appreciate
to
it so
talk to you.
much.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I just shared the link with you in private chat. Do you
I
want me to
saw it.
email?
I saw it, and I
Do you want me
pulled
to
it up,
email
and
it to you?
it's the
Uh-huh.
perfect. It's the perfect link. I think if you can you share that in the public chat?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think everyone should take a look at this new law here in California, and those in California should be talking to their attorneys about it. Hey, Miss G, I got to run this evening. Thank you for coming on the early show today. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be back at our usual time, 7 p.m. So I'll see you and everyone back at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Good
Okay.
night, all.